My folks decided to host a barbecue because I guess that's what older people do. I declined because I really don't like my two sisters, their husbands, or their kids. My wife and I are child-free. Mum then pressured my wife. Long story short, we went. By the time we arrived, there were about 20 people there. My sisters and their husbands were already solidly buzzed. Intoxicated, really. My mom spent 100% of her time trying to keep the nieces and nephews, ages pre-tween to tween, more or less under control. My dad had strategically retreated to the whirlpool part of the pool with a small cooler full of beers. My wife and I made small talk with miscellaneous people, ate food and had a frozen margarita. Sisters, brothers-in-law took turns criticizing us for being late, not being in our swimsuits, and screwing up the vibe. Whatever. Typical suburban summer get-together. About 45 minutes in, two kids ran at one of the neighbor guests standing next to the pool and pushed her in. She was at the pool steps, stumbled in but didn't fall, so she only got half wet. She was clearly very unhappy about it, but she didn't make a scene, just went over to where the parents were, grabbed their towels, dried herself off, and left. My sisters and brother-in-law thought it was all great fun. A bit later, I was standing a few feet away from the pool, chatting with someone. I saw three of the kids running full tilt at me from the corner of my eye. Obviously, I was next. Not that it's terribly difficult to outwit young kids, but I just jumped out of their way at the last second. All three of them ran straight into the pool at full speed. Most of the other guests, including my wife and me, started laughing, but their moms, who, as I mentioned, were pretty intoxicated, absolutely freaked out. Apparently, two of the kids couldn't swim even though they were in swimsuits. Since I wasn't in swim gear, I stepped back from the pool and let other people fish the kids out. The kids were bawling their heads off like they'd lost a limb. At that point, it all broke loose. The four intoxicated parents were yelling at everyone in general, and me in particular, for nearly letting their kids drown, and also because two of the kids had been videoing the trick using their parents' iPhones, which were now at the bottom of the pool. One of my brothers-in-law got into the pool to try and retrieve the phones, but his BMI and BAC made that impossible. No one else volunteered to help, which was unsurprising given that my sisters were still yelling at everyone. I told my sisters it was their job to watch their kids, and that if anything had happened to them, it would have been their responsibility, not mine. There were some pretty strong words on both sides. My wife and I left after the other brother-in-law fell over and face-planted while yelling at us. Now they're saying I should have let the little idiot knock me into the pool and have their fun, and ruin my phone. So, am I the idiot? Side note, Dad of course never got out of the whirlpool. Not the idiot, the kids messed around and found out. If the parents' phones got ruined in the process, that's on them for not controlling their little terrors. I can see why you avoid family get-togethers. Hopefully, next time your wife won't allow herself to be guilted into making you go. Either way, Dad was the smart one. He knew what was going to happen. Gee, I wonder why the OP doesn't like them. They sound absolutely charming. If they're anything like my parents, the mom brings it upon herself, planning the whole thing and enabling her precious grand angels despite Dad's protests, then plays the victim when things go horribly wrong. Camping in the whirlpool is one giant "I told you so." Maybe you and your wife can have your dad over to your place next time. I'd party with him 8 days a week. Dad was probably like, "Martha, I'd like to enjoy my retirement. I don't want to entertain a bunch of intoxicated idiots and noisy kids." The parents knew their kids couldn't swim and took them somewhere with deep water and weren't watching their kids. And they were intoxicated, rendering them less able to react quickly if something did happen, which is a pretty likely outcome of hyped-up kids running around a pool area, even without the silly pushing game, which adds another layer of what can go wrong. Your siblings and their partners are morons, and they're raising the next generation of brats we'll all have to deal with. If those kids have any chance of not growing up to be, well, what their parents are, it's you teaching them the lessons their parents won't by absolutely slam-dunking on them just like this whenever you get the chance. And every time anyone complains, you should tell them all that. Stand firm. I have 4 siblings, and my 2 brothers have refused to talk to each other mostly for the past 2 years. I'm getting married in a few months, and there's literally 1 week before then they will all be in town, and my brothers agreed that we could have a family dinner, and they both come and be on their best behaviour. My brother Owen's only stipulation is that my brother Greg's girlfriend, Joni, doesn't come. The reason Owen doesn't want Greg's girlfriend there is part of the reason they haven't talked. This is due to Owen's wife, Tracy, being very upset with Joni still over an episode when Tracy had my youngest niece. Joni babysat for their other child, and they'd apparently made arrangements that Joni would continue to do so for the newborn as well after Tracy was done with maternity leave. However, there was some kind of miscommunication where Joni thought that Owen and Tracy were going to be paying her more money, and Owen and Tracy thought she'd be getting the same rate. So, a week before Tracy gave birth, Joni literally just stopped showing up without giving them time to find anyone else. This blew up into a huge fight that involved other pre-existing tensions with Owen and Greg. I thought this seemed fair because Tracy is technically now part of the family while Joni isn't. However, Greg got very mad about this because he said Joni is his family at this point, and if she can't come, then Tracy shouldn't be able to either. The problem is that Owen will refuse to come if Tracy can't, but Greg said he'd come anyway, so I asked him if he couldn't just take one for the team this once, and now he's really mad at me. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. Your brother and his wife tried to seriously scam Joni to work underpaid. Would they think they could put both of their children into daycare but just pay for one child? Joni stood up for herself, and your brother and his wife are playing victims. And you are all totally out of line, acting like Joni is in the wrong here. Playing favourites like this will make Greg cut you all off. I hope you're prepared for that. I agree, but Joni just not showing up was not appropriate. Bailing without giving the other couple some notice so they can find a replacement a week or so before the birth is an idiot move. But it's not OP's place to sort this out. The two couples need to figure this out. I don't for 1 second believe that Joni didn't warn them. Thinking about it, she stopped showing up a week before the birth, so it's not like she was babysitting both and then was blindsided by the pay and then stopped working. It was before. So that means they obviously had a conversation about it. There's no way it's planned out like Tracy is claiming. It sounds like Joni quit when she found out they wanted her to watch an infant essentially for free. They couldn't even give her the courtesy of informing her of their insane expectations. Was she supposed to provide them with 2 weeks' notice or something? OP, so obviously your fiancé isn't invited either then, since according to your definition, he's not family yet, correct? You are the idiot because you're not choosing to exclude Joni because you think her behaviour over the kid and babysitting situation was wrong, but because she and your brother aren't married. I can't stand people who measure the validity of a relationship by whether or not the couple is married. Fantastic point. Fiancé shouldn't be invited either. You're only family if you provide free, unpaid labour and allow them to take advantage of you. Always amazing how many idiots you can find in a single family. I, 24 female, have been with my boyfriend, 25, for 3 years. We visit his mom and stepdad every month, and they're very nice people, but my boyfriend's stepdad makes jokes that have made me uncomfortable for years. They're always of an inappropriate nature, but it's always about the boyfriend and me as a couple. Like if we show up a little later than expected, he'll cut off any expectation with a comment like, "Oh, I know what you guys were doing." That example is tame, but they never get too graphic. I've told my boyfriend I don't like this, and he says he doesn't either, but it isn't worth hurting his stepdad's feelings because he means well, he's just awkward. We spent the night at their house Saturday, and on Sunday morning, I had apparently gotten some toothpaste on my shirt. As soon as he said, "What do you have there on your shirt?" I knew exactly where he was going with it, and I just said, "Well, it could have been your grandkid." He made a gagging sound and left the room. The boyfriend's mom said nothing but followed him out. My boyfriend asked what the heck was wrong with me, and I said he was literally about to make the joke. I just went harder because I'm tired of it and wanted him to know how it feels to be made uncomfortable like that for once. We left within an hour, and it was a very awkward goodbye and ride home. My boyfriend thinks what I said punished everyone by making them all uncomfortable, and I should just ignore stepdad's immature behaviour. Not the idiot. A true joke lover would have high-fived you, pulled boyfriend aside, and said it's time to talk marriage. What's good for the goose must be good for the gander, unless we aren't dealing with geese, just squawking idiots. Stepdad outed himself as just being a bully. Well played. If the boyfriend is upset when stepdad is offended and not the reverse, think about that. If stepdad's jokes are funny, then why would your joke on the same level not be funny? Everything should be held to the same standards. Next time, feel free to start naming the kids too. I agree. The boyfriend really needs to understand what is inappropriate and what isn't. and whether it makes you uncomfortable, because if he doesn't care, that will be a problem in the future. If it happens again and he doesn't support you, take that as a red flag and ditch him. I, 34 female, have kids, young male grammar school age and male and female toddlers, with my husband Luke, 32. Luke's family goes on a big trip in the summer holidays with the kids in a big Airbnb. Usually it's our family, Luke's 3 brothers and their families, and not his sister Anna, 29. Anna never wanted to come before as she was single, and she said there are too many kids for her to be around, 11 kids from the 4 families, and she wouldn't enjoy the activities except for the kids and couples. Anna has been dating Dave, 33, for the past year, and Dave has a son, Sam, tween. I met Dave at a family function with Anna. At our last family dinner at my house, Sam threw a tantrum over not liking the food and tried pulling the tablecloth off the table, spilling food and pushing plates to the floor and breaking some of my tableware. Sam also kicked my older son and tried teaching some of the younger kids swear words. Anna and Dave apologized and were very embarrassed by Sam's behavior and helped clean up. However, neither of them tried disciplining Sam, who ran away with his phone given to him by his mom and watched videos while everyone else was cleaning up. I've met Sam 8 times, and all have been negative experiences. Anna told me that Dave is scared of his ex-wife, so he won't override her parenting, and she doesn't believe in saying no to Sam. Every time Anna tries saying something to Sam, he just reminds her that she is not his real mom. This year, as a family, we invited Anna and Dave to come along to the trip. However, after meeting Sam, we decided to uninvite them if they brought Sam. This year, we're going to a large beach house for 2 weeks, and being there with Sam sounds like a nightmare, as neither Anna nor Dave will stop him. Anna called me up and was upset, as she said Sam needed patience and time to adjust as he'd been through a lot. Sam's mom is getting remarried, and his dad has moved on, and excluding Sam from this trip was mean. Anna asked me to tell Sam to his face the next time we meet that he'll not be coming on the trip. I tried explaining to her this was a group decision, and for the sake of everyone's well-being and experience on the trip, we'd all said no to him. I offered to spend more time with Sam, Dave and Anna separately outside the trip as a family, but she declined and will not speak to me. The rest of the family agrees with me, but the trip is next week now, and I'm not sure we're actually in the right. Not the idiot. Dave set the rule that no one can tell Sam what to do. The only thing left is not to allow Sam to come. If Dave and Anna can't get their head around that, then why do they want to come and ruin everyone's trip? That is super rude on their part. They are the only idiots. Call their bluff. Tell him to his face that his behavior is the reason his family isn't welcome on the trip. Poor parenting has created a child that cannot be disciplined by anyone as instructed by Dave. It's unfair for one child to ruin everyone's vacation, and to be quite honest, if this child's behavior doesn't get addressed, not only will he be left out of this vacation, no one will want him around. This child will be excluded from more and more things unless something is done about his behavior, so the parents can fix it or get used to him not being invited to things. Dave and Anna need to get a different Airbnb nearby, bring Sam over in small doses, and remove him instantly when he misbehaves. They all need to agree, in writing, that they will pay for any damages that Sam does to your rental when he's visiting. This is the only way that Sam can transition into being welcome with everyone after he's transitioned to your family rules. When he learns to behave, because otherwise he can't stay, and decides it's more fun to play with his cousins than create chaos, then he can share your Airbnb. It'll be a lot of work for Dave, but he created this problem. No vacation for him until he solves it. I'd not thought of this compromise. They stay at a separate place. It's a good idea, though they could say it'll make it more expensive for them. They'll be paying for their own place instead of splitting the cost of the main house. Still, it would keep them included. I feel for Sam. He's at a strange age developmentally. His parents are no longer together and moving forward with other people. That is never an excuse for Sam to behave the way he does, and for him to be allowed to behave that way without consequences. I'm travelling with 5 friends now, and we're travelling cheaply. However, we had one long layover in an airport with a great VIP lounge. The thing about these lounges is that they have free food and liquor, and comfortable chairs and shower facilities. I told my friends what I was on about, and they all said that they didn't want to waste money. So I went to the lounge by myself. I had some snacks, a few drinks, a quick nap, a long hot shower, and then I caught up with my friends at the gate. My phone was fully charged. I was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. When we started talking, they complained about the cost of everything at the airport. They asked why I looked so pleased with myself. I told them about my stay in the lounge. Two of them got visibly angry. They said I was an idiot for not telling everything there was in the lounge. They'd actually spent more on food and drinks than I had. Plus, I got to nap in a comfy chair and have a shower. I said that lounges aren't a secret and that the internet exists. They could have looked up the same information I did. Am I the idiot for paying for a lounge at an airport during a long layover? Not the idiot. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. You told them what you were going to do, and at this point, everyone should have an idea of what lounges have in them. Not your fault they didn't want to check it out. They say they didn't want to waste money, but they went and bought food at the airport anyway. Surprised their friends shut off the idea even before checking how much the lounge costs, lol. With a long layover, lounges are an amazing hack, especially if you want cocktails. Airport cocktails can be like $30. 2 cocktails and you've paid for your lounge pass. However, maybe don't gloat about the great time you've had when you're with people who had a rough time, especially if you got to travel together. Keep the peace. It doesn't seem like OP was very transparent with their friends about what they were declining. The fact that OP didn't go, "No, really, it's worth the money. Free food and drinks, shower, place to sleep, it's great," when telling their friends about it just seems so weird to me. Like, did OP not want their friends to be comfortable too? It would take 2 seconds to give a little info on why the lounge is worth it, but instead, OP kept their mouth shut and then was smug about it later. You are the idiot, OP. Only some people travel or know all that information. A good friend would at least inform their travel companions of the benefits so they could all enjoy together. I've travelled with friends before and had the same dilemma of them not wanting to spend the money, but I took 5 minutes to explain what was included, and then we all enjoyed the lounge together. Keeping that info to yourself and then gloating about it to people you call your friends is an idiot move. Sure, the internet has that info, so did you right then during the conversation.